Right, so I wanted to address a new kind of outlook on some things I was thinking about in my first video. Maladaptive daydreaming is not a gift, because I was, as some people have noticed in the comments, they know who I was not talking about, but the points I'd heard off of them were what I was basing the video on. And I had a discussion with them today which kind of changed my view on it a little. So I wanted to kind of make a new video to kind of express some different points. Now, I'm not going to quote anything and stuff, but this is just the new outlet I have gotten from this discussion I had with her. I don't know. I'm assuming genders here, I feel like, which I feel kind of bad for, but I think it's a female. I don't know, sorry if you're not and you see this. But yes, so I have some points written down, that's why I keep kind of glancing down. But yeah, my new kind of outlook on it is that daydreaming is not just a curse. Daydreaming on its own, without maladaptive, without the disorder, just as itself, is a tool, but it needs to be used carefully. The example I'd thought of a while ago is it's kind of like just picking up a chainsaw, and you look at this chainsaw and you kind of think, I could make a piece of art with this. But then maladaptive daydreaming is kind of like, instead of getting training or even like thinking about the logical ways to use this chainsaw, you just decide, hey, I'm going to turn it on and start hacking at things and hope it makes art. Which is kind of when it gets really destructive towards people and other things. But if you were to kind of teach yourself how to use the chainsaw, you could make probably a piece of art with this chainsaw. You just have to learn to use it. Sorry, I have the cough at the moment. Stress coughs, they're the what? I feel like I tried to call them the brightest there, and I'm not sure why. Yeah, I wanted to express, you hear this? This is really annoying. I'm trying, I swear. I wanted to express a few ways that you could use daydreaming as a tool instead of a burden. The first one I had was as a sense of control over your emotions. So the situation that happens most of the time is that something will happen or will come up or something like that, and it will distress a daydreamer, which they will then turn to their daydreams. A way you could use your daydream as a tool instead of as a misguided coping mechanism there would be, of course, there you go, you would either express your feelings through a daydream or avoid your feelings and go for a more happy kind of outlook to things. But either way, you should be feeling better after a while of those daydreams. The way you could use daydreaming as a tool instead of, I've said this like 3 times now, I'm going to stop saying it, I apologise. But to make it a more healthy kind of way to use it, you would then stop daydreaming as soon as you have a better mindset and you have a better outlook on things, and return to whatever made you distressed to see if you can somehow make that better. Like the example I was thinking of before was, I used to get really, really stressed out by a certain type of chemistry homework. It doesn't really matter why, it was just something that used to really freak me out. And it would normally result in me just running off to my daydreams and not coming back to it ever and just making excuses to the teacher that never really ended up asking for them. But had I been using it better than I do, I could have stopped daydreaming as soon as I'd felt better and kind of returned to it with this better kind of healthier and happier outlook on things. The next point I had was an element of self-expression / reflection. For a lot of people, daydreaming are a bit like normal dreams that your brain conjures up. So they kind of use them to sift through feelings and emotions and events that they can't quite manage to sort through on their own in their conscious mind. So they go through them in their daydreams and they'll maybe express them better in their daydreams because it's so much easier to do. Like, everyone who daydreams knows this. It's so much everything just understands you in the world. Literally everything. It doesn't even have to be alive, and it knows you and it knows what you want and how you're feeling. Which, again, could be perfectly healthy and really helps us be more aware of ourselves and understand ourselves. But again, you have to use this within reason. If it's the only way you can think about something and it's the only way you can really reflect on anything, then you can't come to things face to face, and that there is not healthy. That's where dissociation disorders tend to start. So when you can't deal with something as it is, you have to do something else with it, basically. Next one I had was inspiration, because as is often pointed out by people who claim maladaptive daydreaming is a gift, we're often very creative, whether it be writing or any other form of creativity, but I'm going to use writing because that's what I do and it's what I understand. Sorry. You could use daydreaming as inspiration for those kind of creative blocks and you really just don't know what to write about. But the thing with this one is that once you have got inspiration, you need to stay still. You can't get back up to them. Because I think we've all been there when, oh, I'm just using it for inspiration because I don't know what to write about right now. So you get up, you do your inspiration thing, you come back to your computer, write a few lines, and you're like, oh, I'm kind of stumped now. I guess I'll go back up and I'll get more inspiration. But you do, and you sit back down, and then you write less than last time. And then you do the same thing again and write even less. And it just kind of continues on like that until at some point you just go, why bother going back to this? I'm just going to get back up and again in a minute. I'll just stick with this. And you've stopped writing and you never go back to that because you're daydreaming instead. So if you're going to use it as inspiration, you have to do it once and sit down. Otherwise it doesn't count and you're still just avoiding. Another one that I had was using it as a pastime, but take that lightly. Really bad boredom. I know for a lot of people who suffer with mental health illnesses, I don't know if that's the right term or not, but I'm using it for now. Probably not. That boredom is never a good thing. It kind of leaves you alone with your own thoughts and it kind of spirals very quickly. So in that case where you have literally nothing else to do and you're just kind of like, what do? It's acceptable then too. We'll probably use it as a pastime at the moment as well, but more of a pastime that you do 90% of your waking hours doing or your free time. I think that's all the points I had to make. I might have more later, but that was the points of how to use it productively. I do want to leave a note at the end of this though, saying that when you are using daydreams positively, when you're using them to get a positive effect and you're not seeing the negative side of it, it is not maladaptive daydreaming in any way, shape or form. Well, I suppose it is in the daydreaming shape / form, but please do not call it that. Because it kind of desensitizes the whole maladaptive daydreaming thing I was talking about in my original video, where it's serious. It's a serious tamper on most people who suffer from life. And it's just not fair to kind of, because you're seeing positive effect, just to kind of push down all those other people and be like, oh yeah, they're not really suffering that much because I can get positive things from this. There are other names for using it positively, and it is amazing. Great, good for you, well done you, if you can use it positively. But it's no longer called that, if it is. I feel like that got back into the aggressive story. I don't mean to be aggressive about it. I'm just like everyone else in this who has been told it is normal. And it's since made me very... My computer turned off. Did you see that? That was really annoying. It's just made me very sensitive to the way people describe it, because it's not a positive thing at all when it's destroying your life. Maladaptive daydreaming primarily destroys your life. It doesn't do anything good for you. I may make another video on a ton of different names for positive daydreaming, because there are a lot out there for people who use it as an outlet and use it positively as a tool that they have learned to use out there. It's just that a lot of people don't know there are other names and use maladaptive daydreaming instead, not understanding that it is a disorder. That term has disorder on the end permanently. It's not an option like most people think it is. We just use maladaptive daydreaming because it's shorter and who can be bothered to say the whole thing, basically. So yeah, I have rambled on for 10 minutes. I apologise. I'm going to go now. But yes, that was my new outlook on daydreaming. It can be used positively and it can have a positive effect on things. It's just not maladaptive daydreaming anymore when it becomes positive, and you cannot use it positively instantly if you decide to. If you have been using it negatively, you need to change your ways so that it can be controlled instead of just, oh, I'm using it positively now, so now I'm cured because I don't think it's bad anymore. If your feet are still hurting, if you're still avoiding people, if you're still avoiding things you need to do, it's not the right thing you should be doing right now. You should not be embracing it right now. You should be working on reducing it until it is at a reasonable level. Yeah, end of ramble slash, I don't want to call it a rant, it's not a rant. But yeah, I'm going to actually go now. I hate doing outros, it's so awkward. Yeah, so bye then. Bye.